So my name is Fredrik. I'm working with AWA, as Natasha said. For those of you who don't know AWA, just give you a short introduction to the company. We are a full-service IP law firm with a strong chemistry and life science team. So I'm part of that chemistry life science team. We cover all technology areas, but of course, considering where I am today, I will talk about chemistry and life science. I have about 400 colleagues around the world, across 20 offices in 7 countries. So even if we are, AWA is a big firm, we really have a local presence, personal connection with our clients. And it's a bit ironic then, because I was going to point to my 2 colleagues, Joanna and Edith, who are here quite often, but they're not here today. They're on the way, but there's something with trains. Anyway, like I said, AWA full service IP firm, not only patents, we work with anything in intellectual property, which I'll come into, a lot of trademarks, a lot of commercial law. We have a very strong legal team. On the patent side, where I am, the patent team, we have a background ranging from biology, molecular biology, biophysics. I'm a chemist, medicinal chemist, myself included, and other colleagues. We have a strong background in academic research and also industry research. I spent 12 years as a medicinal chemist in big pharma and biotech before I joined AWA, an ex-colleague of Sara's in Sprint Bioscience. So I'm kind of coming home to Flemingsberg today. And also we assist companies in every stage. So anything from academic research to startup companies to scale-up companies to big pharma companies, from R&D to market. That's the short AWA pitch. But going then to today's topic, I will start by asking you a question. Do you know where the value of your company lies? Because there are a lot of hidden values, especially today. In the 70s and 80s, I'll see if I can do this. In the 70s and 80s, most of the market value in a company was found in tangible assets, meaning in their facilities, in their tools, in their products, in their machines, their warehouses where they have their stocks. That was where the main value lies. But today, that has changed drastically. So in a modern company, in most companies today, the major part of the value lies in intangible assets. So know-how of the employees, it can be data and models, and not the least the reputation or brand of the company. Tesla being a very good example here, where if you have a crazy CEO and the public thinks less of the company value drops dramatically. That's the brand. So there are a lot of intangible assets, and so a lot of the value are tied up in these intangible assets. And this value can then, of course, be found in intellectual property, or intellectual property rights. So patents, trademark, design rights, copyrights are the traditional ones, but also domain names can hold an immense value for a company. And then also go into where a lot of the hidden values lie, trade secrets, know-how. Again, things that you can't register the right, but it's a huge asset for your company. All the knowledge that your colleagues have and your employees have. So used in the right way, intellectual properties and intellectual property rights can be used as a business tool and as a financial tool, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. So it can be used to strengthen your business position by strengthening or controlling your business relations. What I mean by that is that in every relation that you have as a business, you can get a stronger position when you're having some kind of IP. So of course you can build trust with your customers and block competitors. For example, if you have a patent for your product or for your technology, your customers are more prone to buy from you. If you have a patent, it kind of shows some kind of quality stamp, but also for avoiding risk, especially large clients, they want to avoid risk. They don't want to risk you losing the right to sell your product or perform your service. And when it comes to reducing risk, I'll jump down to, especially in the life science industry, financing. You're much more likely to get VC capital if you have an IPR, an intellectual property right. Again, VC capitalists, they are prone to avoid risk. So if they can invest in you and know that you have the right to your technology, it's an exclusive technology, no one can find that technology anywhere else because you have the patent to that technology. It's easier to find financing. But also a lot of the softer things that you do as a company, you can strengthen your position when you have some kind of IP right. It's easier to negotiate agreements if you have a strong position about what you're agreeing about or what you're negotiating about. And of course, using IP to create the revenue stream, that's also what I'll focus on today. For example, licensing it. If you have a technology, you can license it and get a revenue there. But also, if you are working, especially in the academic industry intersection, managing your IP will make it easier to collaborate because that will bring clarity and reduce risk that something goes wrong. So a lot of good things about why manage your intellectual property. So managing is one thing, but how do you make IP a growth factor and not just a cost center? Because yes, especially the registered rights cost money. And this is a matter of strategy. It's really about connecting your IP strategy to your business strategy. And I'll start by showing an example of what not to do. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the cartoon South Park, one of my favorite shows. I will tell you the tale of the underpants gnomes. For those of you who don't know South Park, it's a cartoon. It's a small town called South Park. And in one early episode, South Park is plagued by gnomes who steal everybody's underpants. And Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny, they actually catch the gnomes in the act. And they ask the gnomes, why are you stealing underpants? And the gnomes simply say, stealing underpants, big business. And when the kids ask them more, what do you mean? What is this? Well, then the gnomes actually show them their business plan, kind of their big scheme on why this is big business, and see if you can spot the flaw in this scheme. The gnomes say, collect underpants, then profit. They even have a chart. Phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 3, profit. So the kids ask the gnomes, but what about phase 2? And the gnomes they just repeat. Phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 3, profit. And we can compare that to then a business plan or an IP strategy, saying that we patent, then we profit. But with no thought about how a patent will actually drive growth, how will a patent generate a profit, or a trademark or design right, how will that help you reach your business goals? So there's something missing in the middle there. The start, fine. The end, fine. But that's an incomplete business plan or IP strategy. So a better way is to divide this into 4 steps. The first step is about creating whatever it is you're creating in your research or in your company. And then in step 2, that's all about analyzing what you created, connecting what you created to your business plan. And very often, step 2 has to involve an identification step because, as I said before, there are a lot of hidden assets in your company that you might not be aware of. So step 2 might read, identify, analyze, and connect to business plan. And then, in step 3, it's about protecting what you've created. And then use the full IP toolbox. It might not just be patents. You should have to use the type of IP that makes sense for your business. And then, step 4, profit. And my suggestion is that you do step 1, we do step 2 and step 3, and then you enjoy step 4. That is usually how we work with our clients. That's how we want to work with our clients. So about aligning IP strategy with your business model. When you're doing this, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. Again, this is not a one size fits all. There's not a template how to do this, because this has to be your IP strategy and your business model. So you have to ask yourself all these questions. How will I earn money? What am I selling, or what am I providing to the market? Where is my market? Is it only here in Sweden? Is it worldwide, Europe? Is it only the US? When are you going to sell this product, or when are you going to provide the service? Is it now? Is it in 5 years? But also, of course, knowing your market, know your customer. Who is your customer? It's also really good to take a big step back and look at yourself and really find out what is the value that my customers are willing to pay for. And how do I differentiate my value, or how do I differentiate from my competitors, what value they bring? And then you can start really asking the question on what are the goals and activities that I have that can actually be helped by using IP. And then what of this IP can be used for growth, to really make sure that you invest where it should. And what you always should keep in mind is that the purpose of IP is to create value. If IP is only a cost center, you probably have done something wrong, or you need to connect that IP to your business plan in a different way. So when it's kind of summing up that when designing the best portfolio for your business, you really have to consider the value proposition that you give to your customers. What are you going to offer them? And again, this is not a template way of thinking. You can look at your competitors and do the same thing, but it might not be the best fit for you. You have to think about your value proposition, because that defines your IP strategy. So just a few examples how this can be structured. If you're a product company, you're selling products, then you require a deep, defensible protection for each individual asset. Especially if you're in the pharma business and you have a clinical asset that's going to reach the patients. You know that asset, that product will be a blockbuster, for example. You know that your IP is going to be challenged because there's a lot of money involved. So you need several layers of protection, deep protection for that asset. So every asset should have its own individual assets. If your asset is that you want to sell it earlier, then at least it should be packaged around that asset. So you could sell that asset and the IP around that without affecting the rest of your company. So really keeping it clean. On the other hand, if you're a platform company, you have a technology that you want to license to a lot of people, then you need a different type of patent portfolio or intellectual property portfolio. Then you need some kind of broad portfolio that makes sure that you can license this out to several clients and get a royalty stream, maybe for upfront and yearly payments, but without losing control of that asset, because you want to do this multiple times. And you also want to use that technology yourself. So it's a different type of portfolio that you need there. Or maybe you're a speed to market specialist, or maybe you're actually offering services to help others speed the development to the market. You might be in a technology area where technology evolves so quickly, so patents are too slow. Then you're more likely to rely on know-how and trade secrets, and of course your brand, so trademarks and your reputation in the business. They know that you are the best. Keeping that brand might be the best way to stand out for competitors. So really, start with the end in mind. Your value proposition defines your IP strategy. And if you don't define the destination, you cannot build the right map. So this is really, I have no idea how I am on time, but I'm nearly done. So going back to this, how to make IP a growth factor. This is really about not just doing IP. It's not just about, well, we need a patent. Why do you need a patent? Can you use a trademark instead? Can you use trade secrets? And then trade secrets, not just keeping things secret. You have to actually have the processes in your company around trade secrets to make sure that you actually make that IP a growth factor. So any IP can be turned into a growth factor if used correctly. And again, it shouldn't be a cost center. So that was my 2 cents on how to make IP a growth factor. And I just wanted to show this is the life science team, the AWA life science team. And this is not just the team here in Stockholm. This is across all the offices. And also from China, from Belgium, from Denmark, Sweden, Norway. And my colleagues, Edith and Joanna, who were supposed to be here today, or they're coming here. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll be very happy to take questions, and then of course I'll stick around afterwards if you want to connect and have any deeper discussions on IP as a growth factor.
Thank you so much.